response. Now I've got to do it again.
So I'm live here with Devolve. I've got Jock and Obi. They've put together an NFT project like no other. And I know these two guys personally, and I know that they're very intelligent humans. They love problem solving and puzzles, and they've built their knowledge about programming computers together with the love of puzzles and done something really unique in the NFT space, which is an exploding space, but hasn't, from what I've seen, had this kind of creativity. So we're going to talk a little bit about the project. Most of you understand that by now and have looked at the white paper and explanation of what's going on in the project. We're going to touch on that and then give some updates about the pre-sale and whitelist status. So thank you so much for joining me. Obi, if you don't mind giving us a bit of a rundown on what's special about Devolve.
Too easy, will do. Thank you for having us. I'll speak on Jock's behalf as well there. We're very pleased to be on your podcast here. So Devolve, what's different? Well, we acknowledge the fact that there are some amazing NFT projects out there already. There's some pretty powerful collection avatar-based projects, 10K projects as we sometimes call them as well, and a lot of different variations on that, but there's still the single dimension. We want to, in a way, acknowledge that in our project, but also build on top of that to offer a richer feature set, a bit more gameplay, strategic experiences inside the NFT. We're not out there to try and compete directly with these big brands that already established themselves. So we don't need to come out with just the collection of artwork. We spent many months looking over different concepts and ideas in NFTs, from completely new concepts all the way through to, as we said, the vanilla collection style NFT. And we felt we've, come up with a very nice hybrid here, whereby you can still experience what you're familiar with in the ability to collect artwork, trade it, have the rareable traits, etc., but also integrate some what we would say are pretty fun gaming strategies there, allowing you to effectively devolve, which we can get into later on in this in the podcast.
Yeah. So how do these characters devolve? I know there's just over 5,000 initial characters going to be minted. And can you talk us through a little bit of how this devolve process works on a high level?
Do you want to talk through that there, Jock?
Yeah, sure. So there's eight levels of different artwork, different generations or levels that we refer to them. And we started thinking, instead of moving forwards through evolution, which is how a lot of these different projects and obviously the way life actually works, we started thinking, what about the opposite? What if we went backwards? And obviously in the crypto space, deflationary projects are always looked upon with, or any deflationary currencies looked upon in favor. So we thought about sort of combining those two things, and that's where we've come up with this whole concept of Devolve. So the first level, 5,376, is that right, Obi? 5376?
Yes, 5376 for the first level.
First level is human. So what happens when you devolve is you take two of the same levels, in this case it's humans, you devolve them together, which essentially burns them. And what burning, if you're not familiar in NFTs, basically means that they get completely obliterated from the face of the planet. They no longer exist. They get sent to an address that on the Ethereum blockchain that no one can access, and then they're completely not owned by anyone. So they're essentially gone. What you get back from that devolve process is a next generation single NFT. So effectively what you're doing is you're burning two humans and you're getting one single next level, which in this case is a caveman. The rest of the levels remain anonymous. It's a secret until the first person can actually get there and uncover what that is. In addition to
a bit of our gameplay there, a bit of our game strategy in play. So yes, it'd be interesting to see who can have an idea of what's there. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, so basically this burning two to mint one and the next level continues through, where the supply then halves at each level. So we start out at that 5,000 number and we go through 8 different levels where we end up at 42. That's the supply halving 8 times. from there, that's the end supply. Those can no more can be created, and none of them can be removed. So that's what will live on for eternity after this project's finished.
I'll explain. I was going to say I'll just add a little bit to that as well, which is where the devolve process comes. That obviously is quite a deflationary model there. There is the additional factor that when you do devolve, as Jock said there, you destroy the two humans that you have. We actually give you acknowledgement devolved versions of those humans as well, and they have different artwork. They look devolved. So we've got some awesome traits that get the awesome artwork that gets uncovered as you devolve, and they have a completely different utility to the undevolved humans, and that happens at every level. That also has a deflationary gameplay on it, so that although those are generated during a devolve process, the game strategies and gameplay will see those deflate to effectively zero at any level if people wish to play it that way.
Yes, so that hopefully explains that makes sense of how the model works. You have to put two of them together to get down to the next level. They become progressively more rare, and you still have something to retain for what you first had. And you could, of course, get a rare NFT at that first level as well. So then it becomes a big question of do you devolve, do you not devolve? Purchasing at different levels. There's a lot of different components that go on with this, and I know you've also added the OG element. Should we touch on that, because anyone listening to this is looking at having that OG opportunity?
Yes, we can certainly touch on that. We acknowledged in our podcast or video that Jock and I put up yesterday that we have been focused primarily on the tech side of things. We are a tech-focused team, and the community launch has been a little bit slower than we were anticipating through the fact that we're spending so much time on the tech. To acknowledge that, we wanted to offer a pre-sale opportunity to the awesome community that has already joined us so early on. In the pre-sale, we introduced the concept of an OG trait. So that has now been added to the tech. Anybody who does mint in the pre-sale will have an OG trait included in their NFT after the public mint has finished. Those OG traits will be represented through the metadata and also through an OG badge on the NFT itself. We've managed to work out the mechanics to allow that OG trait to continue through the devolve process as well, so that if you take two OG level 1s and devolve them together, you will get an OG caveman at level 2 and all the way up the chain. It is also possible to devolve an OG with a non-OG, and it will share the purity. So the level 2 would effectively be a 50% OG. And if you did that again at level 3, it would drop down a little bit more. So that means that by the time you get to the level 8, we have mathematically, you have anything from 0 OG purity through to 100% OG purity. It just adds another game element there. If any of the early pre-sale guys wish to go that way, then they can play the game differently. It's possibly a strategy that people might look for when they're buying these NFTs to devolve themselves. That's pretty much sums up the OG trait there.
Yeah, I think it's important to note there as well that it's the only trait that gets passed from one generation to the other. When you mint two humans, for example, and then you go through the devolve process, when you mint the caveman out of that process, it's a completely new randomly generated set of attributes. So its rarity is completely random. So that presents numerous opportunities in the game where if you say have two common rarity humans and you decide that it's actually better off to burn those to have the chance of getting a single potentially rare caveman. Whereas with the OG, that can actually pass up through the generations as you burn, whereas none of the other traits have that potential.
That's correct. Yeah. One thing on that though is the bloodlines though. The bloodlines do stay with the humans. it is another gamification aspect. We added part of the Devolve process. We have 5 bloodlines here: earth, fire, wind, water, and energy. You need to devolve 2 of the same type together. So 2 fires will create a level 2 fire and goes up the chain that way. There is equal number of the earth, fire, water, and air, and then there's a slightly less number of energy that are available for mint, and the numbers have been worked out so that they can all devolve to the 42. There will be no locked NFTs because there's too many in one than the other.
Yeah, so
Seem to be frozen there.
Yeah,
you've
I'm not
created
getting.
is like this most
We're losing you there, Keegan.
kind of multi-dimensional, the most multi-dimensional kind of, I think it becomes the most multis that I've seen. And I think that it'd be very effective for this program. Obviously, they're really new. You know, it looks like they're here to stay. If you listen to people like Gary Vee and, you know, there are a lot of celebrities now that have put massive amounts of money into the Bored Ape Yacht Club. And, but what's interesting about this one is that I see anyway is like people could really become obsessed with it and really deeply understand it and play to win. Now it depends on the prices will play a huge part in that. But how do you see it playing out? Obviously no one can predict how the market will react, how people will react to this game when it goes live. But can you talk a bit about how you've designed it to be played?
Yes, I certainly can. There, we lost you a little bit at the beginning of that question, but I think we got the gist of what you're looking to get out of it. So the gameplay, yes, it's a typical NFT. You know, you'd buy it because you like the artwork, or it's part of a community such as the Bored Apes, as you've mentioned there. You know, you're buying yourself into a very unique community, a very niche community. The idea with ours is that we do have that community component, but we also have the gameplay. So I feel it will play out over a long period of time. We may be talking, you know, potentially some people may go weeks, it may be months, it may even be years. The thoughts there, you know, some people may wait for prices to try and drop a little bit, or various other market factors to move, and then keep buying items at you know, some of the slightly more common ones at the floor prices, with the intention to devolve those. We feel that's quite a, you know, one strategy anyway. Sort of that wait and see, wait for it to come down, buy, devolve. Every time you do devolve, it reduces the supply. So if you are in Bored Apes, it's a very expensive club for a lot of people to get into. It's probably out of most people's prices to be able to jump in that as their first NFT for sure anyway. The idea being there that you probably don't want to go into that club 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Once you have your Bored Ape, as with any of these other clubs there, you're probably happy with that, and that's the one you'll own. Early adopters there would have got a number of those in their wallets, but it's not something you would normally go in for multiple times. It could be an investment side of things that people are looking for. With Devolve, of course, there is an incentive to keep coming back and taking more, because you could effectively devolve those and your goal could be, let's go for level 2. And then you're like, okay, well, I only need 1 more to get to level 3. And then you can go 1 more to get to level 4. So in a way, it's keeping your collection succinct, and your Devolve versions, you know, you can sell those on in the marketplace and leave those behind, or you can access the other utilities that has and burn those to release funds from the royalty pool that is entitled to.
So you've touched on the royalty pool there. Do you want to explain a little bit more about that as well?
Sure will. Yep. So the royalty pool is designed as a way to give back to the community through holders. Whoever owns the NFT and keeps hold of that NFT will receive. The royalty pool receives 5% of the resale value of the NFTs that take place on the marketplace OpenSea. That's put into the pool. So rewarding people who are holding the NFT, and the people obviously who are selling that NFT on, they have no access to that pool anymore. The way it works though is, rather than the traditional model of you go to the smart contract, then you stake your NFT, and you then at a later date claim and exit the staking, this is a one-off. There's a one-off ability to claim on these NFTs. So you can think of them, when you devolve, they're effectively auto-staked into the royalty pool, but you still have full control of them. They're sitting in your wallet. They're not staked in the contract, but the presence of them being devolved is enough for the contract to know that they are entitled to some of that pool. If you do want to access that pool, you have to burn your devolved NFT for good. This isn't another devolve process. It is send it to the contract burns it on the blockchain, and it releases whatever proportion of the royalty pool that NFT has been allocated. The allocation is based on what level the NFT is at. Obviously, the lower levels will have more NFTs in the pool, so their proportion of their funds will be smaller. It's also based on the rarity. I won't go into too much detail. It's probably worth referring to the white paper on how we factor in the rarity there. But it's important to note that common traits could become rare over time if more and more common NFTs get burnt in the royalty pool. It's also based on the other thought process here is that it is a one-off burn. So if the royalty pool is at a certain amount, once you've burnt your NFT, you have no access to any future royalties that are coming in. But the other play side to that is the fact that only devolved NFTs are included in the calculation. So if you're early into that pool, you have a higher percentage of that pool, because there are still a lot of NFTs sitting in their undevolved state. They don't have access to that pool. So there's a strategy there. Do I hold long term because the pool is increasing in value? But every moment I hold, there are potentially more and more devolved NFTs coming in. You've also got just so that we don't drain the pool by the first person jumping in there is a 10% threshold. So 10% of any level has to be devolved for the rewards to that pool to be unlocked at that level. So in level 1, for instance, it would be 5,376 total. So 537 NFTs need to devolve, and then that pool would be open for any claims. Maybe a bit too much to digest in one go there. It is very clearly laid out in the white paper, and there's some FAQs on the website as well to try and help you understand how that works. I would definitely refer you to that. It's worth looking at.
The pin post in the Telegram is also my attempt at making the project clear. And most of the people who have read that the first question is, how do I get on the whitelist? So it's not that complicated, but to me, like, the level of gamification, like, it's what makes this really unique. What's also really clear is that you guys have set this up like with the consumer in mind. Like, you've set it up to benefit the community. And if you look at the NFT space, like, it's all driven by the energy of the community. The Bored Ape Yacht Club is cool now because there's a bunch of celebrities that have bought these, and now to be able to buy one is a status symbol. But you can see that, like, NFTs are really, really powerful examples of the network and network effect. Where I see the potential of this project is because it is very unique, and it's something that you could have a lot of fun with. You could have a lot of fun with it with your friends, and it's going to be really interesting to see, how people play the game, whether people devolve quickly or whether they cash out into the liquidity pools, or the staking pool. Will you be able to know what your reward will be before you burn, or do you before you cash out and take your stake, or is it something
Yes.
that you're going to find out after?
It's no, there's a calculation there. The royalty pool the NFT will know how much it is entitled to of a certain level, and we fully anticipate the dashboard for that to be able to show you exactly what you can get.
Yep.
It's something that's obviously quite important anyway. It doesn't need to be random, and the smart contract will be there available for everybody to see anyway, so they can see how the calculations work themselves. The community may even come up with some additional tools that access that smart contract on a read-only basis. It's blockchain information, so the community may come up with ideas and concepts to actually enhance that. Some of the we're open to that. We're open to collaboration. We're open to people coming to us and say, "Hey, we could do it this way. We could do it that way." And if they want to contribute to the team to make the community a bigger and better place, then we're very much happy with that.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good last topic for us to work on. I'm very interested in working with you guys in the NFT space with my own endeavors and businesses. I would love to think about how this is going to come together, how I can add more value to Devolve through my business, and then probably a bunch of other people. I know there are a bunch of other people in this community who can do the same thing, because once you're in the game and you own the tokens, then anything that I can do to add value to the project is in my own interest, as well as the interest of everybody else who has tokens in the community. So you guys are clear and open about wanting that collaboration. We've spoken about ideas of how other artists and other projects could become involved in the future. I think the big thing to know there, or to be clear on, is that you are looking for the community to put forward what they want to do, and bring proposals to the table, and you're going to be responsive to that. I think is a huge thing that people should be aware of in the NFT space, and you guys have sort of put that on the table from the start.
Yeah,
well,
I think
thank you.
I was just going to say that's one of the pieces of feedback that we've got continuously, is that projects that don't listen to their community, especially early on, that keep their cards close to their chest, that don't make announcements, they're not honest, they push dates. Obi and I have experienced as consumers that type of thing in certain communities in NFTs, and we've always wanted to steer the exact 180 opposite of that type of experience. Plus, when we originally coming up with the concept for the project, we always wanted to involve the community as much as possible, because that is us. We are the community in a lot of these projects. I mean, we're involved in crypto, we're involved in NFTs and other people's projects. So it's really important to us to have that component to listen to the community. And often, the best ideas are going to come from that group think tank. You've got people that have been in the game for only a month, but they might have learned something really important. You've got people that have been in there for years, that have this wealth of knowledge. And I mean, I'm already taking heaps of DMs on Discord. It's been really great. A few members have stepped up and provided some really amazing feedback that we've actually already been able to implement into what Obi and I are working on this week. So it's really exciting to have that really, I mean, it's almost one for one straight in, that sort of feedback. There's no, through Telegram and Discord, we've got the ability to talk to everyone, whether it's in the group chat or send us a DM. We'll be there, we'll talk to you, and we'll figure out whether what your idea is, if it's worth, if it's valid, and I'll take it to Obi and we'll see whether it'll work with the code, and if we've got time, and if it makes sense, and then we'll implement it. I think it's really exciting to have that component, that feedback, that community approach to the entire project.
Definitely. It's one other thing I'd like to add on that as well, is that we do acknowledge that the community we have through some of the crews you've brought in as well there, Keegan, some of them can be quite new to the NFT space. Some have bought a few before, some are heavily invested in NFTs. So we have a broad mix already, and we want to effectively make this a great experience for them from the beginning, because so if we're open, then hopefully they'll have a great experience. It will benefit the community as a whole. We would love to see our community grow into obviously a very big space. Given it's a deflationary NFT, there are going to be some players there who get to the very exclusive levels. But the devolving aspect, just holding a devolved NFT, maybe something that people look to do. If we can give them that experience, then it would better the NFT as a whole. And we may make mistakes along the way. We will own up to those as we go through. But you can imagine, blockchain is you sort of get one shot with these contracts. You test, and we would like the community to go, hey, you may have missed a thought. You may have missed something here. And the OG role was a good example there. Actually, that was suggested by members in the community, and we're able to put that through.
Yep. I think that's really important that you guys have that on the table, and looking at, this is a long-term, this is a direction that you guys want to go in long-term. You want to, hopefully this will lead towards other NFT projects. We're already talking about sort of collaborating. So there could be a lot of other benefits that come with this. And I think that's important to kind of put on the table as like, this is a long-term play. And if building other future projects, the people who've been involved in Devolve at the OG level, you don't forget about those people, and it can potentially have a really big positive impact long term.
I totally agree. Yes, we have mentioned that already. That I believe it's in our white paper there, and not just OGs. Anyone who doesn't get to know about the projects at this stage and comes in a few weeks or a few months' time, still has the ability to progress through various levels. And we have said that we would like, we would love those people to come on board with future projects. They could offer a wealth of experience, a wealth of knowledge. There may even be some ideas in the community, and they want to put those forwards as a future project or a future direction that's not in synchronicity with Devolve itself, but we can bring the Devolve community into that project. I think that would be a very powerful stepping stone as well for a lot of ideas.
Excellent. Well, I think that's given us a really good understanding of who you guys are and what you've developed. It is very early days, and it's exciting to see how much energy is there. I think after the pre-launch, people are really going to be inviting others to look at the whitelist opportunity, and it really will be about the network that we build will determine how far this goes. And that's what I love about NFTs is like, yes, it is up to you guys to to make a lot of the project work, but it's also up to all of us who have decided, this is a cool thing. We have the opportunity to influence the direction that it goes in, like much more than, for example, when you buy a token, you have no impact on whether that project becomes a successful project or not, but when you buy an NFT, then you get to play along. So I'm looking forward to the launch, the release, and how we can continue to add value to this token and collaborate in the future.
Yeah, I would just want to add one thing there. Yes, without the community, this is just a smart contract on blockchain. So it really is the community that can make this work for everybody. So we do ask that anybody who is involved at this stage, if you have your pre-sale, if you do get your pre-sale allocation there, or you get yourself on the whitelist, and then please do share. Please bring more people into the community, because that way we can make it a successful place for everybody.
Yeah, and I think just to tag on to the end of that, we do have a marketing plan. We do have quite a decent marketing budget that we're rolling out. I think we'll make more of those plans available to the public or to the community this week. There's certain things that we've just been holding to our chest while we confirm details. We don't want to release anything before it's been confirmed. So that's just something I want to make clear. So we're not solely relying on this organic growth strategy, although that is really fantastic, and it's great to see the growth we've had in the project. Just the last 24 hours is phenomenal. It's really impressive, and it really shows the network effects. In Discord, which I'm hoping a bunch more people will jump on from the Telegram to experience this whole Discord community, which is really specific for the NFT side of things. But you've got people bringing in 30 30 or 40 friends each. They're just jumping on, inviting them, and they all start chatting in the group chats, and it's pretty exciting to see that. But while I want to foster as much as possible, I don't want to rely on that strategy, because I understand that that's a concern for a lot of people. There's a lot of projects that come out and make it the statement that we're going to grow organically, and that's where they fall on their face, because they don't invest back into the project in terms of the marketing budget. So that's definitely something that we've got on the cards, and we will make those plans a lot clearer as we go into this week.
Love it. Thanks for making that clear. Is there anything else you wanted to add? Any other updates around the whitelist? Or
at this stage, I think we've covered most things. If we've missed anything, do keep an eye out on our Telegram announcements channel. That's a different channel to the Telegram chat channel, and also our Discord announcements. Those two. Also follow us on Twitter as well. Sometimes it's you'll get a notification there that you'll see that you might not see on one of the other channels. So just follow us everywhere. Any notifications will be put up there.
Perfect.
I think just quickly on the end there, the giveaway is still open for another 14 hours from here. It ends at 11:59 p.m. on November the 29th UTC time. So from the time of recording this, that's 14 hours. We're giving away 14 NFTs as first, second, and third place. That all takes place on Twitter. Twitter is one of the main communities and one of the main places where the NFT community comes together. So if you're not on Twitter, jump on there. It's really amazing to see how big the community is. Twitter is very active in the NFT space itself, from a development point of view, from a company point of view. So make sure you get on there, apply for the giveaway. The instructions are on our Twitter. The links are on our website, on social media, everywhere you'll find us. And good luck for your chance to win one of the 14 NFTs we're giving away.
Perfect. Yeah, and just to be clear, I'm buying in on the pre-sale the same as everybody else. I'm not getting any special treatment. I am having conversations with these guys about what's going on, and they are friends. I've been open about that from the start, but I'm playing the game the same as everybody else. So I know that it can be murky waters in NFT space, and I've only been researching it the last really couple of weeks outside of the Theta network, and I've seen that people have been asking me about projects, and you look at the project and there's 60,000 people in the Discord, and they're launching. There's a lot of hype. There's big channels on Instagram with huge backing behind them, seemingly. But then when you actually go and watch what's going on in the Discord, and you look at the nature of the project, all is not as it would seem. Now it's up to every individual to have a look at these projects and make their mind up for themselves. They are actually delivering the tokens from what I understand, but there does seem to be a big world of like fake followers and fake hype and fake videos on YouTube and this sort of thing. So yes, it is a challenging space, but a space with a lot of opportunity. So I encourage everybody to, think with your heart and with your mind about what you're going to do. And I've been open and transparent about what I'm doing. If you've got any questions, please ask. And that you can see now a little bit more of who this team is. And hopefully you will now, get a feel for what they're aiming to achieve. So thanks for tuning in, and please get in touch with myself or the team if you've got any questions.
Well, thank you.